it is, as long as the dog is in there fighting and not overly doing this.
As long as the grip is not moving up and down the sleeve.
Up and down, or too much of this.
Okay.
A little bit of that. No,
Just on the regrips,
if you're a judge, and you're looking as a judge at the fighting of the dog too. You know, you have to be a judge that's going to look at that and say, okay, when that's happening, if this dog does a little bit of this, but the dog has a tremendous amount of fight, you may give him that. Again, we're looking if it's going to be a 10 for the perfect picture with the aggression and the drive and all of those things in place. The perfect picture for our sport. The perfect picture for suit work sport is going to be different. It's just going to be different because it's a different sport.
I think overall, one of the things that I think we're trying to kind of harken back to is taking a look at the overall picture
Correct.
of the dog, and not getting lost in the trees, and like taking a look at the forest and saying, okay, you know, you can watch a dog fight a helper and say that dog is a beast, and if his grip is super full and he pushes in a couple of times because he's got leverage over that helper, where's the harm in that? What we're looking for is if we see a dog that's pulsing because he's nervous, that should be recognizable as completely separate from a dog that's basically owning that helper and, you know, and pushing him around a little bit and maybe, you know, pulsing into the grip a couple of times.
It would be the same.
That's the difference.
And it would be the same thing somebody asked the other day about a growl. If your dog is in there in a fight, in a conflict, and it's like, no judge should take points for that. But if your dog is in there, that's a whole different thing. And so you're trying very hard to educate the judges and to get them all on the same page so that scoring is the same. People are different. It's not going to be 100% perfect, but we're going to try and shoot for as close as we can get to that so that we're all on the same page with that. So that's good, basic. When you teach transition to a dog, you really have to teach transition to a dog on a number of different helpers as you move along. Because if you don't, it becomes very situational, where the dog will pull on a certain helper that's holding a sleeve a certain way, but won't fight with all helpers if that sleeve is held in different manners. Or when your helper is doing that work, that helper has to make sure that that dog is going to do that behavior no matter where the sleeve is. So that's something that we work on. It's something we've had to work on with my dog, is to say, if that sleeve is high, you still pull. If that sleeve is low, you still pull. If that sleeve is back here, you still pull. So what he's going to do is put the dog,
Get away from the
dog
blind.
behind him.
Yeah,
Right.
video. You can video the dog and it'll pick up her voice.
Put the dog next to a blind. Put the dog next to a barrier. Have that dog pulling there, away, turn, and look for that sleeve to be pulled there. Drive, same thing again. Pull. So that's it.
Not a girl, Cola.
So with a lot of the dogs, when we're starting them out, if we want to teach them to push, some of it will just be genetically they're going to be pushers. But if they tend to pull a little bit, then we'll put them on all fours, walk backwards, teach them whenever they encounter any sort of conflict to push through it and push into the helper. That's how they're going to win the sleeve. So it's just like, it's the reverse of the pulling. It's, if you put the dog in a position where he pushes forward, he has to be marked, he has to win in that situation. If he gets the sleeve slipped to him, then you start asking for multiple times that he's going to be pushing. We don't want to create we don't want to create a pulsy grip. Just like when you're pulling, you don't want to create a dog that's going to pull himself off the grip. So there has to be a little bit of balance that's going on there while you're doing the training. But for the most part, when we're doing this with the dogs, we're starting on the ground, then moving them up, a little bit higher, putting them back on the ground, moving them up, so they start learning to push when all 4 feet are on the ground, and then they'll start to push with their back feet off, their front feet are off the ground. Good. So when you're teaching the pushing, like, you have to experiment with each dog a little bit. Some dogs need to be moved a little bit more quickly to get them in the rhythm of pushing in. Some dogs you need to move a little bit more slowly with. So it's kind of an experimentation, right, as you're working the dogs to figure out, you know, what speed you need to move at. But typically it's a lot of just like going backwards and letting the dog come with you and come into the fight. All right, like.